Congressman Mike Lawler joins us now as we're in the middle of these conversations about the stopgap spending plan on Capitol Hill and, of course, the looming potential government shutdown later this week. Congressman, thanks for your time. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So as we've had discussions here, we know there's been meetings with the leaders on the different sides, with President Trump involved as well. I'll get to that here in just a moment. I know that you've put this largely on the Democrats. We know they need around 10 votes in the Senate to be able to get this through, which they rejected the first time out. What's a non-negotiable for you at this point that you think you need to hold the line in terms of the Republican conference?
Well, this is very straightforward. We have passed continuing resolutions to keep the government funded year after year after year when Republicans and Democrats have been in charge. This is a straightforward, clean CR to keep the government funded through November 21st so that Congress can finish its appropriations negotiations between the House and the Senate and the White House to pass a final fiscal year 26 appropriations package. What has changed here is that Democrats in Washington, and in particular Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, have changed their position. They no longer believe in clean CRs. They want to demand a pound of flesh in exchange for their votes. And that's just not the way that government should function. We have a responsibility, as my Democratic colleagues have said time in memoriam, to keep the government funded, to ensure there are no disruptions to things like Social Security or veterans benefits or border security or our military, and to make sure that we are doing the work of the American people. We do not want to have a government shutdown which will create chaos in the marketplace and in our economy, which is totally unwarranted and unnecessary. There is a clean CR on the table that already passed the House. All the Senate has to do is follow their own rules. You need 60 votes to break the filibuster and pass a clean CR, which the Democrats did every time during Joe Biden's presidency. The only difference now is that Donald Trump is president and Chuck Schumer seemingly is worried about a primary from his left.
Yeah, I think you meant earlier Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, just so everyone knows you're on the record of that. You slipped and said Majority Leader. But so you do have the two different provisions the Democrats have put forth here that they want to undo some of the cuts from the big, beautiful bill. They want to make some of the Obamacare tax breaks permanent. Why are those things that you don't think should be negotiated on or with at this point?
Well, first of all, obviously, what was done in the tax bill is not going to be undone by the Republican Congress that just voted for it. So that's illogical. But second, when it comes to the Obamacare subsidies that were passed during COVID, these are the COVID-era subsidies that were done to ensure that those who may be unemployed because of COVID had support to keep their health care. Those are slated to expire at the end of the year. I'm on record supporting legislation to extend that by 1 year. But that's a negotiation that should and will happen as part of a final appropriations package. It's not something to jam into a clean CR in which we are simply keeping the government funded and open through November 21st. With this deadline approaching tomorrow, it's just not going to be enough time to do that. And I think the idea that we're going to shut the government down is wrong. And again, I would just point to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and their past comments about how devastating government shutdowns are for the economy and the American people. And I don't know why they would all of a sudden have a very different posture, except, of course, they don't like who the president is and they're concerned about their left flank.
You mentioned sort of the markets earlier, and the Democrats have argued that the fact that it would be in flux until November would put the markets in chaos and would allow some less of an investment there. What do you make of the counter to that?
No, that's fundamentally wrong. I mean, first of all, the Democrats have supported short-term CRs multiple times to get us into November and December. Again, providing certainty that government is funded, that government is open while we finish our appropriations work. That's simply what we're doing. We're keeping the status quo between now and November 21st. And again, when Joe Biden was president, Every single New York Democrat voted for this without even hesitation. So I don't know why they would object to it now other than politics. So look, I've been very clear and consistent in my position on this. I've never supported a government shutdown. I have always supported passing CRs, not because I like them or think that that makes the process great. It doesn't. But the alternative of shutting the government down is disastrous. And everybody was on record saying that until just a few weeks ago.
I mean, obviously, as someone that's so staunchly against this, you could probably agree that it's become a negotiating tool, right? At this point, by what
that's their objective, and seemingly, if you look at their list of demands, they think somehow they're in the majority. They are not. We had an election. The American people spoke, and we are moving forward with the policy agenda that we have put forth, including cutting taxes. The average New Yorker, by the way, is going to get a $4,000 tax cut because of the tax bill that we passed and every single Democrat voted against, including lifting the cap on salt. They want to undo all of this. I don't support that.
The Democrats, and you've heard Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries come out and say, sort of stick their heels, and they really stick their heels in at this point in time, also citing abuses of power by the Trump administration. So I will put that to you. Do you believe that anything the Trump administration has done at this point would suffice as government overreach?
Well, first of all, what they're talking about is a rescissions package. And under the law, the administration can put forth a package of rescissions, and Congress, by majority vote, simple majority vote, can approve it. And that's what occurred. And they're also talking about pocket rescissions. And the Supreme Court literally just ruled yesterday that the president has the authority when it comes to foreign policy to engage in pocket rescissions. And that's what the administration did. So they're hanging their hat on that. But by the way, the rescissions package occurred after the last CR that they all voted against. So, they can't have it both ways. You either support CRs or you don't. They previously did under a Biden administration. Now they don't under a Trump administration. I have been consistent in supporting CRs to keep the government funded, regardless of who the president is, and I will continue to do so.
But it does feel like on the rhetoric on the Democrat side that they are looking at this as an opportunity to say, look at everything that's been done since January and look at what the Trump administration has implemented, whether that's the federal takeover of some cities or what ICE has been. And they say there's been overreach there. Do you think there has been overreach at the federal government level at any point?
Look, when Joe Biden, basically waved a magic wand when it came to student loan debt, violating the Constitution, Republicans went to court. We won in court. Democrats have brought numerous lawsuits against President Trump, and in many instances, they've lost because the law is actually on the president's side, whether it be with respect to deporting of criminal aliens or whether it be with respect to oversight of the executive branch and the various departments and agencies. The power of the executive is vested in the executive, not in the legislature. The power of the purse is vested in the legislature. We are going through the appropriations process right now. That is the time to negotiate. That is the time to duke it out. But to shut the government down and stomp your feet and pound your fists on the table because you're not getting your way is foolish and does nothing to serve the American people.
If that's the case, then why is the executive meeting with the leading members of Congress?
Well, look, you always have a responsibility to meet and to dialogue. We'll see how this meeting goes, but the reality is we all have an obligation to talk to each other, even if we strongly disagree. That is the responsibility of being in government.
What do you expect to happen next?
Look, the ball's in the Democrats' court. We have passed a clean CR through the House. It's up to the Senate to move that legislation. Chuck Schumer should listen to Chuck Schumer of old, just last year, and vote for a clean CR.
Congressman Lawler, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.